Good morning, Super Scholars. Today is Tuesday, April 21st. Happy Tuesday. Before we get started on today's lesson, make sure you go back to yesterday's slides to check your work. All you have to do is go to this slide here and then click here to check your work, and it'll take you to a slide with everything organized where it should be. For today, your learning target is I am learning to make connections between two texts. Remember, our success criteria tells you exactly what you need to be able to do to say, I've got that learning target. Your success criteria for today is I know I've got it when I can compare and contrast the information I learned from each text. So this means you're able to tell us, did the information come from the first text, the second text, or both of the texts? Remember, our essential question is how do things get built? This is the question you should be able to answer by the end of the week. Some important vocabulary today is contrast. Do you remember what it means when you contrast? When you contrast, you tell how two things are different. Our next vocabulary word is compare. What's it mean when you compare? Compare is when you tell how two things are alike or the same. And last is Venn diagram. We've used this a few times in class. A Venn diagram is two circles that connect. One side is how they are different, the middle is how they are the same, and then the last side is how they are different. If you want to learn more about our vocabulary words, click on this link and it'll take you to a vocabulary describing everything you need to know. Okay. Before we really get started, watch this cool video about someone building a ship out of Legos. While you're watching this, think about these questions. What did you notice about the ship being built in the video? How did the little boy build the ship? And what would you build if you could build anything? Just a reminder, we're learning to make connections between two texts. I know I've got it when I can compare and contrast the information I learned from each text. So today, you're going to explore ships on Pebble Go. To get to Pebble Go, click on this link to COE Landing. Select Pebble Go, and then you can just type in ships. Remember, they give you all kinds of information, so you don't want to just stay on the first page, because then you might not learn as much. You can click on each tab to learn about different things, and if you need it to read to you, you can click on this right here. Okay. Once you have read through the ships section on Pebble Go, then reread The Joy of a Ship. As you read these two things, think about these questions. How is the information in the two texts similar? Did they have information that was different? How could we organize this information? Now I have Detective Pikachu on here because I want you to put on your detective gear to find information in the text that is the same and different. So make sure you have your detective hat and detective goggles on. Once you have read both of those and thought about those questions, then you can sort information into a Venn diagram. Now, you can do this in two ways. You can draw a Venn diagram on a blank sheet of paper. Remember, the two outer sides are how they're different. So label one, the joy of a ship, and the other, ships, Pebble Go. The middle is how they're the same, so you can just label it both. What information did you read from the text that you found in both of them? That would go here. Was there information that was only in one of the texts? If it was only on Pebble Go, you would write it here. If it was only in The Joy of a Ship, you would write it here. You can also click on this link, select Make a Copy, and it will have a Venn diagram that you can edit from your Chromebook. So it already has information pulled from the text, and you would read it and then just drag it to where it would go. If you decide that that's not where it belongs, you can just move it to where you actually want it to go. Once you are done, you can go to the next slide to check your work. So that is what we are doing for reading today. Remember, in order to say that you've got your learning target, you need to be able to compare and contrast the information you learned from each text. So can you tell us what information came from The Joy of a Ship? What information came from Pebble Go? And what information did both of the texts have? Okay, so for phonics, we have a special phonics challenge. So we found this awesome OI and OY song that first graders did. So here's the challenge. Do you think you can learn this song and sing it for us? Or do you think you can make up your own OI, OY song? If you choose to accept this challenge, you can upload your video to Flipgrid. I can't wait to see the exciting videos you all come up with. I bet they're going to be great. Okay, Super Scholars, make sure you're working hard today and growing your brain from home.